Well, hello everyone. I am Matt Williamson, and last podcast of the week, but I will come at you right after the Steeler game again for an immediate reaction, as usual. Strange week with a Saturday, of course, but let's dig right in. I'm going to talk about when the Colts have the ball, go through a bunch of stats. I think that Porter matches up well on Pittman. I don't have a lot of faith in the Colts running game, so I don't think this is a terrible matchup for the Steelers, but the Colts average 5.2 yards per play for the season, and that's the same as over their past three games. Steelers give up 5-1 for the season, 5-3 for the season, 5-1 over their last three. Over their past three, the Colts are throwing the ball just under 66% of their offensive snaps. Only the Chargers, Jets, and Raiders are throwing at a higher percentage over their last three. This is a heavy 11 personnel team, third highest rate in the league. Steelers defense faces 11, just under 54% of their snaps, though. Only two defenses see 11 personnel, a lower percentage than the Steelers. Crazy. Only one defense has been in their nickel package with 5 defensive backs on the field, a lower percentage than Pittsburgh. I don't love that. I don't love that you're either heavy in base or light in dime, and the linebacker problem's making that worse. But they've been like that for a couple of years now. It's something I want to talk about probably in the offseason. Just 2 defenses allow a better completion percentage than the Steelers, but only 5 defenses are being targeted deeper downfield on average. Opposing passers are getting the ball out of their hands in 2.5 seconds against the Steelers. Just 4 defenses face a quicker time to throw. It's important. I mean, people are not holding the ball against the Steelers, especially lately. The Colts have had a quarterback under center for just 6.4% of their snaps. That's the second lowest percentage in the league. And they're just a heavy shotgun team. I'm not a huge fan of shotgun, but, that's what they do. Gardner Minshew has attempted at least 39 passes in 3 straight games, and in 6 games total this season, despite Anthony Richardson starting 4 of those games. For his career, Minshew's 11-10 as a starting quarterback. He's an average, risky, borderline starter, good backup type. Michael Pittman averages 9.8 targets per game for the season and has gotten 11 or more in 4 straight games. Over that 4-game stretch, Pittman has 37 catches for 391 receiving yards. He now has 8 or more catches in 6 straight games, the longest streak in the NFL, and he has 8 or more in 10 out of 13 this year. Keenan Allen's the only player in the NFL with more targets this season than Pittman. Mentioned the Pittman-Porter thing. So Porter has shadowed DeAndre Hopkins, Amari Cooper, Jamar Chase, and Marquise Brown since week 9. And on a combined 100 of 128 routes run, including 91 out of 97 on the perimeter and 9 from 27 in the slot. Now, I didn't include Dobbs on there because he started to follow Watson and then didn't, when Watson got hurt. And I also didn't include the Patriots because they really don't have a number 1 receiver. But when facing Porter, Hopkins was held to 4 catches for 60 yards on 11 targets, while Cooper had 4 catches for 34 yards on 9 targets. Chase caught 4 passes for 81 yards on 4 targets. One or two was tipped. And Brown didn't catch a pass on his 2 targets when shadowed by Porter. Porter has played 92.5% of the Steelers' defensive snaps since the Week 6 bye, compared to under 23% during the first 5 games of the season. Josh Downs could be in for a big game here, but he's been targeted 5 or fewer times in 4 of his last 5 games. Could be hitting a rookie wall, but slot receivers get a lot of production against the Steelers. Alec Pierce is their true outside guy. His 10.1 target rate is only ahead of Van Jefferson amongst all receivers that have run 300 routes. They throw him bombs, basically, outside the numbers. The Colts had 4 tight ends play between 17 and 24 snaps last week. Indianapolis tight ends have caught a league low 53% of their targets this season. Kylan Granson is the only Colts tight end to hit 50 receiving yards in any game this year. So they just keep revolving tight ends. I mean, they cut him in and out of the lineup a ton. Steelers are allowing 92.6 yards per game to receivers aligned in the slot, fourth most in the league, and 10.3 yards per target to slot receivers. That's 31st. Again, slot receivers are eating the Steelers up. 10 different Steeler defenders have an interception this season, but no one has more than 2. I think Minkah gets one very soon. TJ Watt has at least half a sack in 6 of his last 7 games and is currently second behind Khalil Mack in the NFL with 14 sacks this season. The Steelers are 36-16-1 and allow 19.6 points per game with Watt in the lineup since 2020. They are 1-9 and allow 26.6 points per game without Watt in the lineup since 2020. Minshew's been blitzed on 36.6% of his dropbacks, which is second most in the league. People are coming after him. The defense is 8th in blitz rate at 34.5. I don't know if they'll have to come after him, but he has not handled blitz well at all. So, taking a quick break, we'll talk about the running game. I'll give you my prediction. Zach Moss. He's played 54 of a possible 64 snaps last week. He was stuffed for no gain on 3 carries, took a loss on 3 more, and he had just 3 carries in that game of over 3 yards. Trey Sermon was the only other Colts running back with a carry against the Bengals. Moss has averaged 2.7 yards per carry or less in 3 of his last 4 games. He has been the starter the past 2 weeks and has generated just 79 rushing yards on 32 carries during that time with Jonathan Taylor sidelined. In these past 2 games, Moss has gotten over 86% of the backfield touches, and in each of the 5 games this season he has played without Taylor, he's received 80 or more percent of the backfield touches. Moss has been contacted behind the line of scrimmage on 52% of his carries this year. That's the 3rd highest rate in the league. I don't think he's going to do much damage this game. The Colts could only muster 46 rushing yards last week and just 2.6 yards per carry. Only 5 defenses have allowed fewer rushing touchdowns this season than the Steelers, just 8. How about this? With Cam Hayward on the field, Pittsburgh allows 3.5 yards per carry, and just 5.5% of the rushing attempts have gone for 10 or more yards. When Cam is off the field, either injured or on the sideline getting a breather, it's 4.5 yards per carry, and 11% of the rushing attempts go for 10 or more yards. Last thing here, since their Week 11 bye, Indianapolis is converting just 22% of their third down. That third down attempts, that is worst in the league during that stretch. Frankly, I think the Colts are playing better than the Steelers, although they just got beat bad by Cincinnati. But I think this is a really bad matchup for Indianapolis. I think that the Steelers will run the ball. I don't think the Colts will. I think Minshew will get hit a lot. I have the Steelers winning this game 20-17. Their series history against the Colts is incredibly good. I think there will be Steeler fans there. I think the rest really works in their favor. They have 9 days to prepare, where the Colts only have 6. I mean, they played Sunday. And they need it. I mean, it's a standalone game, a game that Tomlin should have this team really ready for. Turnovers worry me from both quarterbacks, to be honest with you. Both these guys are pretty reckless with the ball, and it could come down to that, but I think that's kind of a wash in terms of who's more likely to hurt their team. That's from the quarterback position. So that's a wrap. I will be back post-game and chat this thing up. Hopefully it goes the Steelers' way. It is obviously a game they have to win.